Hey guys, welcome back to Angel Angela, and on this podcast I am going to be talking to you guys about what happens when you don't hear from the narcissist anymore, right? What happens when you don't hear back from them? So a lot of times you will sit back and you will think to yourself, like, what happened to this person? They just disappeared. They don't post on social media, or if they do, it's something minor. It almost seems like this person is invincible. It almost seems like this person is invisible. And you know all about that. You know exactly what that feels like. To feel like you lost your place, in the world, or you lost a part of yourself to this person, and you almost have to reinvent yourself, right? So a lot of times you might not post, you might disappear from social media because you feel like, my old friends aren't my friends anymore, or there's flying monkeys watching me. So you disappear, and sometimes when you don't hear from the narcissist anymore, you kind of see that the same things are kind of happening to them. And a lot of times, when they're posting things, you can tell sometimes that they're posting things from the past, or they're posting, throwbacks, or they're posting, the new supply, or, the person that they left you with that they might not even be with anymore, but they will post these people. They will post their new life, and, from the outside in, it looks good. It looks like they are happy, right? And you're like, wow, how could this person just move on and just be happy after all they've done to me? And I think that when you think about, like, how could they just disappear? Like, how could, it's like you don't really want them. So the feeling that I would describe it that's going on, it's almost like, how could we go back to just being strangers? Like, and then you start having almost a realization that you were strangers before you went through what you went through with these people, or you could simply look at them like, I've known these people my whole life, and now it's like I don't even know these people. They're crazy, So it's more about, realizing that we were going in circles within our own emotions because of our own empathy, and almost looking at it like, dang, how could this person how could they had played with me for so long, knowing that it wasn't real. It was just, they were just almost like a figment of my imagination. So during the final discard, you're just you're looking back at all the other discards, and you're seeing how different this discard is from any other discard, because they have found someone to basically settle down with, to actually permanently replace you. And in the beginning, they tried, to keep you around as a secondary source by triangulating you, and you start to act, that actually starts to soak in. But if you don't see the new relationship with your own eyes, you're still kind of doubting what happened. But there's no other explanation, no matter how much this person can deny it, because when someone cares about you, they don't treat you that way, especially when you don't do anything to them. So a part of you is really in conflict with the fact that they did this many times, and now they're basically just showing you who they've always been, and it's actually soaking up, and you're hoping for an apology, but then the apology is not real. So you're just basically conflicted, knowing that there's no apologies, no closure that really needs to be done. And you start to realize that this is the reason they never gave you closure in the first place, because they knew one day they would do the final discard and they would feel like, hey, I'm doing what I've always done, so there's something wrong with you. So you go through the motions of thinking there's something wrong with you, and because you feel like something might be wrong with you, you'll start to think about this person, wondering how they moved on to just being a stranger. And maybe you have abandonment problems, or you have problems, latching on to other people. But the reality is this person hunted you down and, would not leave you alone while physically, mentally, sexually, spiritually abusing you. It's almost like you're kind of glad the relationship is over because you feel like you can breathe. But then you're kind of upset at yourself because you're like, how did I end up with this person? And now when you start to see them for who they are, you're like, how did I stay around with this person for this long? Like you're almost baffled at yourself in a way. But at the same time, you're still kind of like, you know, how could this person just disappear and everything just go good for them after what they did to me? And you're not thinking that they care about the karma or that they're going through the karma. But a lot of times when you don't hear back from them, that's exactly what's going on, is that they're going through the motions, they're going through the cycles, and they, in their mind, they feel like they made things so difficult. And so there were so many things that they most likely did to you that you just didn't know about, which is, directly, indirectly to you, or it could have been things that they did in their personal life that could affect you, in other ways, or could affect their new relationship. So in actuality, the real reason you're bothered, or you're bothered questioning, now that this person's not around, is because they chose someone. And you're thinking to yourself, how could this person choose this person over me? So you're going to feel more conflicted, and feel like your self-worth is basically worthless. You're going to feel like you're worthless, and that's not the fact. The fact is that, they're running out of time. They're running out of time, and, they're running from their past. They're running from things that you are not even aware of. So, eventually when you learn to accept that, and you learn to accept this type of personality disorder, that a lot of people have, and you'll start coming across these type of people in different aspects, different levels of life. So you'll start to, tell yourself, okay, I'm glad I got to experience love. I'm glad that I got to experience, having a partner, having, memories of memories that I created, even if, this person wasn't putting their 100% effort. These are memories that you created, things that you learned along the way, things that you learned about yourself, things that you learned about what you want out of someone, and realizing that what this person told you you weren't capable of getting was all based off of them continuously trying to control you. These were lies and tales told. So you'll have times where you hate these people. You'll have times where, you're forgiving, and you'll have times where, you won't take back what happened to you and what you went through, because it just makes you a strong person. So being focused on them moving on, not hearing back from them, has more to do with you looking at them almost like, who the hell are you? Why did you think that you deserved me and other people? Why did you think that you deserved to have multiple people while stringing me along with lies? Why do you deserve to be happy? Why do you deserve to be a part of the family, and I can't be a part of the family just because you made up some lies about me? So you're going to be conflicted over these things at first, until you realize that you are worth it, and not everyone treats you like that. It was just them. This is why when you don't hear back from them, you're thinking, if I was such a bad person and you could have whatever you want, why would you choose me if you could have whatever you want? Why did you stay around for this long if you could have whatever you want? So obviously life isn't what the narcissist created it to be. They force themselves on people. They force themselves on you. They force themselves on the new supply, and they lie, cheat, do whatever they have to do to deceive. And anything based on a lie is bound to fall. A lot of times when you don't hear back from the narcissist, they could have stolen from you. You could have had an epiphany where now you look back and you're like, oh, they were blaming this person. They were helping me look for this. Or, simply you are self-aware that they did something to you. They took something from you, finances, and that's why you won't hear back from them. And you're thinking, they told me they were going to pay me back and they just left with someone else into the sunset. But the real truth of the matter is that they had to sacrifice the relationship because there's just too many things that you don't know about that they feel like are going to come to light. And, they already know they're bad people. They're not ashamed of that at all. But, they know that you're very forgiving when it comes to a lot of things, even cheating sometimes. And they feel like eventually you're going to do it back to them, especially when they know they're getting ready to get big time karma. So they rather go with someone who doesn't really know them and who doesn't have bad history where they feel like that person is going to revenge them at their weakest time. So they go and latch on to someone. So they sacrifice you in order to sacrifice you. They feel like they have to destroy you almost. This is why some of these people are even willing to kill you so that they can start all over, So don't get you not hearing, from these type of people as you're never going to hear back from them again. All they're doing is they're running away, and they're planning on coming back. They always plan on coming back when they feel like enough time has passed by, where now when they can, when they come back, they can reveal certain things that happened to them. They won't tell you right away, even if they want to, but eventually if you were to take these people back, they're just going to do the same thing to you over again. Once a narcissist cannot triangulate you anymore, it's not fun to them that you're always going to be looking for some sort of evidence, or that you're basically going to have to accept their new lifestyle, and they know that you're not going to take that easy. They're not going, they know you're not willing to, for the long run, get less than what you were already getting. You were like, I already was getting less. I don't want less than what I was getting. So they go and find someone who is willing to accept less, So even if they do go back to an ex, that person is, willing to accept less. And, while they're with them, the cycle just continues. It's sacrifice after sacrifice. They had to sacrifice the back and forth because things could get worse. So sometimes that other person has a hold of the narcissist. They have something against them, where they're blackmailing them almost. Like there's something going on where they basically got their hook on the narcissist, and the narcissist has to make a choice, and their choice is going to be, to stay there with that new supply, because it's not going to benefit them or you if they come back. So let's just say you're dealing with a narcissist, for example, that's, caught up in addiction or something, and they get with a lower grade narcissistic woman, right? What's going to happen is that narcissist is going to start, feeding more into their drug addiction, because that new supply is into the same drug. So what will happen is that they know they can't come back to you because they're acting unusual. They're acting out of place. They have motivation to get more drugs. They're not motivated to, they're not motivated for, they're just not motivated to think about the future and, stability. And that person, that new supply, it might seem like, they're doing well and things. They might post things. And the narcissist is basically latching on to that new supply. They're using that new supply as a way to feed their addiction, because both parties can feed their addiction, and they will become addicted to each other. And a lot of times, a lot of corruption, a lot of abuse happens. And a lot of times these people will even bring children in this world, and you'll think to yourself, oh, the narcissist, they had a kid, and you're thinking all this crazy stuff about how happy they are. But from my experience, the first time I didn't know what was going on. The second time I realized what was going on, and I realized it was the same pattern, which led the narcissist to their own demise. Basically, they're grabbing the rope and hanging themselves, because they know that things are just going to get worse for them, and as long as you stay around, things are going to get worse for you. So the best thing that you can do for yourself, that the empath sometimes is even forced to do, is walk away. Even if they don't walk away, sometimes you're forced to walk away, because things just start getting worse, start escalating. And these type of people, they'll even hoover you. And when they hoover you and you've healed a little bit, and you're like, wow, I'm getting peace, I'm sleeping better, my finances are better. And then they come back around being negative. And even if they're not saying anything, you feel their negative energy, that you feel their lack of compassion towards you, even after the fact that you had to heal. And they come to you with sob stories when there's other things going on in the background, and they'll even admit to you sometimes, everyone is trying to kill me, everyone is against me, everyone is gaining up on me the way they gained up on you. They try to relate to you, and you're kind of like, no, I can't relate to you, because I don't mess with those people anymore. I learned to walk away. So you realize that they can't walk away, and they like chaos, and they want to bring chaos into your life and make it seem like you're the person creating that chaos. And then you get the epiphany that they are hurt people, and then you're like, oh wow, they're not at peace. And if they're not at peace, there's a reason why they're not at peace, and they're not telling me. So someone is controlling them, and here they come trying to control me. A lot of times when they do seek happiness in other people, even if that person is not a wicked person, every time the narcissist has something, a plan for that person, and they're setting up different stages of how their life is supposed to go, a lot of times that person ends up changing their mind about the narcissist. A lot of times that person starts to see how the narcissist really is, and they flee. Sometimes they move to other states. They flee away from these people. Some of them, become angry. As soon as they have a child with the narcissist, they're like, the mother, the baby mother from hell, like to another level, like a level that you just do not see, like coming to your house, yelling, screaming, banging on doors, like real crazy, like dropping off the kid and just leaving, just knocking on the door, leaving, like weird games being played. So, the narcissist really does this to himself, herself. And then, they have these sob stories that they try to act like they're happy that they got over on past supplies. Like, oh, I got over on that person. I got over on that person. Or I used to have a person that used to do this for me or that for me. Or, or I made a mistake being with that person. That was the biggest mistake I ever made. But really in their mind, it's like the biggest mistake I made was not staying. But they need to let their new partner feel like, you know, like they're the prize. So they have to triangulate by making the new partner almost, hate the past supply. So now they'll play games to antagonize, to make it seem like you're the bad person. And they know how to trigger you. They know your trigger buttons. So, they'll have conversations with you where you think you're having a private conversation with this person, and they're putting you on speaker and stuff. So there's so many things that the narcissist does behind your back. Sleeping with people while talking on the phone with you, all kinds of crazy things that you just you wouldn't think of, right? So this is why you won't hear back from them, because other people will come and tell you things that you didn't know. And, they almost feel like you can see through them. So this is why a lot of times they will not come back, and you're wondering, how could I have been with someone, all these years, just to wake up one day and realize that I didn't even know this person like at all, like I didn't really know this person, and I kept wanting to believe they were one person because I was attracted to the smile, to the charm. But that's not who they ever were, or else they wouldn't have disrespected me the way they did. And not just, it's bad enough that you're hurting someone when you're ending a relationship, but they're laughing in your face, like demonically, they know you're in pain, and they're like, oh, that's not enough. I need to cause more pain. So they know what they did to you. And what's so crazy is that the same source of supply that they run to a lot of times are, not liable or valuable people. They're not valuable people, but the narcissist felt like because they were on a lower level than you, they felt like, oh, well, they're on a lower level than you, so I can manipulate them, right? But after the narcissist has spent so much time with you, they actually learned a lot of stuff from you. So this is why they start to feel even more intelligent than you. But you had to learn things from them as well. So you guys kind of exchange certain energies. And when the narcissist goes back down to a lower level to be with this person, because this person can be controlled easier, which they find out very quickly that that's not the case, that because they are low on a lower level, they cannot be controlled. They're out of control. They're actually dealing with someone that, they're starving. It's like, you're like, hey, I'll give you this food every day, come here at the same time every day. But instead, they're stealing it, and they're calling you names and leaving. They're starving. The same way the narcissist called you names after they were starving, and you gave them a helping hand. So they're going to bite the hand that feeds them, because they feel like that narcissist isn't going anywhere, because that narcissist is portraying to be the perfect partner, which they end up not appreciating it the way you would have appreciated it. You were seeking for that person to treat you that way, and you're wondering why they're treating that other person that way. And they think that by doing good deeds to that person, they're going to gain full access to them. But this is someone that actually is not capable of changing. So they think that they can mold that person the way that they thought they were molding you, only that person's not the type of person that you can mold, you can teach anything to. This is someone that does not listen, like an animal that does not listen. So this is why they talk to you like that. This is why they say, you're not listening, you're not paying attention. They start projecting what that lower grade narcissist did to them. And they don't realize that because they have gained certain type of knowledge from you, they cannot lower, even if they keep trying to play games and lower their intelligence for this person on this lower level. It's going to frustrate them that their level of intelligence has been called out by you. You called it out so many times, so they start to see their own actions. And because they see their own actions, they try to correct them. But now they're correcting their actions to the new source of supply who is on a lower level. It doesn't matter their finances. Mentally, they're on a lower level. So they're correcting themselves with someone on a lower level than them. And that lower level person ends up doing lower level things. So now the narcissist is frustrated. But the narcissist sticks it out because they can't go back. This is why you won't hear back from them. Because they feel like you know more than, because now they're at such a lower, their IQ is starting to go down because they're messing with someone at a lower level that they thought they were going to control. But this person keeps claiming that they're going to change and never changes. So now they're caught up in that cycle. That back and forth cycle that they were putting you in. And now that they are on such a down low, dirty level, that they're doing low down, dirty things with these people during discard stages and stuff like that. Now they're like so disgusted with themselves that they don't even remember what it's like to be with you at your level. They don't even know what that's like anymore. So sometimes the years will pass by and these people will actually come back and act like they're the same person from back in the day, or that they regret certain things and want to start new, that they miss you and things like that. But now when they're coming to you, their presentation is way different. They're not even love bombing you the way they initially love bombed you. And you're like, why does it seem, like you're love bombing? It's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Or that person, looks washed up. Like they look like they've been through a lot. And now you'll start complaining and you're like, this isn't enough for me. And they're angry at you. How dare you say it's not enough? I'm never going to do this for you again. And they try to guilt trip you into feeling like you don't deserve what you deserve, because now they've been dealing with lower level narcissists that are just like them. So because they got caught up with someone that's on a lower level than them, and that person is satisfied with the bare minimum. So yeah, that person can be taking all of the narcissist's time, but they're being satisfied with, just a meal, some alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, whatever they're into, they're getting satisfied by the bare minimum. And as fun as it was at first, that person is looking at that narcissist like they know more, they're more intellectual, or they have more financially, and that person's thinking of how to get over on them. They don't want to be stuck at that level, although the narcissist thinks that they're comfortable in that level. And once they have the narcissist completely, now they're finding ways to betray that narcissist. And this is why when they come back, they're thinking that you should be satisfied with the bare minimum because someone else would appreciate it, yet that person is nowhere in sight. And the narcissist will make you believe that they're not with that person because they chose not to be with that person. But the reality is that person keeps playing them, and they're not trustworthy, they're not loyal, they can't do anything for them. So this is why they come back around, giving the bare minimum, and now they feel like they have to compensate using you. And you're wondering, how could someone come back to me and treat me worse than before? So now they're frustrated because they cannot woo you the way they once did. And they can tell by the look in your face when you're looking at them, and you're looking at them like they're a stranger, and you'll see that they'll look at you like a stranger, and you'll be creeped out by it too, because you'll think to yourself, dang, for months, years, I wondered, how could this person move on like I didn't even exist? They never came back, and when years go by and they do contact you, because they always return to the scene of the crime, a lot of times it's just not when you expect it. Like, it's not when you expect, that it's going to happen. Like, it will happen like 10 years from now, or even if it doesn't happen, you'll hear something. Something will happen where you'll hear something, or they'll just kind of pop up at your house or pop up somewhere around people that are connected to you, just to find out information about you. They just want to know what's been going on, because they've been going through hell. They've been going through hell. And the moment that they left you and they knew they couldn't come back, they knew they were going to go through hell. And this is why a lot of times they'll hoover you even 6 months out the relationship. They'll hoover you because they know what their fate is going to be already by then. They'll realize that the whole time they've been giving this person, their full attention, that there were things going on behind the scenes. And this is why when they were with you, the new supply wouldn't complain about them being with you. And, I always share this story with you guys, but I feel like I should repeat it over and over again. But my grandmother got hoovered. She's 90 years old. She got hoovered at 70 years old when my grandfather passed away. She had 7 kids, a whole bunch of grandkids, and still got hoovered after my grandfather passed away. And by then, she had so much knowledge, she couldn't even believe that this man came back. But she always said to know your value, and she always said to not believe the lies that these type of people will give you, because the man she married, my grandfather, compared to her first relationship, where she learned very quickly what it was, her mother told her, never go back, never look back, because you're thinking, oh, the narcissist spent so much time with me. How could they have done this? Because the new supply really didn't care the way the narcissist thought. The narcissist was just so excited, and you will tell them these things, but they just don't care. They feel like it's better to try than not try. It's not going to hurt to try. I've already tried with you many times and you took me back. So in their mind, they feel like if things don't work out, I'll just do something that you always beg me to do. And this is where you'll see them sending gifts and doing things, and it will seem pathetic to you. Like, is this person this dumb? Yes, these narcissists aren't as smart as they seem. All they do is bully you, harass you, and abuse you into thinking that they're strong. But they are very, very weak people. They're very weak, very sensitive people. They're so sensitive and so full of pride that you will never hear back from them again. Sometimes they'll even come to see you one last time, because they know it's not going to work out. They don't view you the way they used to view you, because that new source of supply has fooled them into almost feeling like they've been with them for years instead of you. They feel like, this is my soulmate, and because they've done this before to other people, they're going to feel like, hey, that's a risk that I took. And, every now and then again, you have to lose, and they feel like, they just have to accept that they lost. And, they'll have pity parties for themselves. They'll get in trouble with the law. They'll go out and start fights with people. They'll, have periods of times where they are silent and they don't want to talk to anyone. But as soon as that new source of supply, or as soon as you contact them and start reminiscing, and allowing them to hoover you back after 6 months or whatever time they feel like they can't take it anymore with the new supply, then they're back thinking about how to run game on you again. Only this time, they're taking out what that last source of supply did to them, whether they stole, whatever they did to them. Now they're trying to take it out on you. You're the one that's going to have to pay for, that other person not that other person not putting themselves in a position to be controlled by the narcissist. So, this is the reason that you just won't hear back from them. They have too much pride. They don't want you saying, "I told you so." They don't want you repeating, what they did to you. They know what they did to you. They actually know that they shouldn't even be bothering you at that point, because they just did too many wicked things that they know that it impacted you and changed your life very drastically, So this is why you won't hear back from them. It doesn't mean they don't think about you, but you don't really want the narcissist to think about you, because everything is always a game to them. Like, the narcissist could be in the worst situation and they still think that they're funny. They still think that they're charming. And this person can be literally wearing dirty clothes and smell like urine. And they're sitting here laughing at you like they have this funny joke in their head. So narcissists, do not change. And really they are people that are running away from their past. They're running away from their past. They don't realize that they can't run. You're in a box. You can't run. When you're a narcissist, you're in a box. As out the box that they act, they're in a box. Meaning that they're going around in circles, because every person they cross will keep reappearing in their life, or scenarios will be repeated as karma back to them as a constant reminder of what they've done. So I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace, and your healing. I hope that this message was uplifting, for your spirit. And if you guys want to book a session with me, my booking information is on the description box. You guys always give me 24 hours to respond to you. And if you guys are new to my podcast, welcome. Do not forget to subscribe, and I will talk to you guys on the next podcast. Love you guys. Bye.